Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. That was the beginning, is now, ever shall be, world without end. Good morning, this is your Sensei Al Bob. And in the beginning, it was dark. And then the Lord said, let there be light. Well, it's cold out here, and it's going to get colder. We get global warming, gang. Oh, it's going to be snowing. And in the next month, there's going to be a confluence of weather on the East Coast. And I'm sorry to say the kids in the panhandle are going to feel it again. But the folks in New York are going to get it worse. So another hurricane's going to come up the bowling alley. Rotate your camera. Rotate your camera. Rotate my device. Where's my device? There's my device. Anyway, and there's going to be a perfect storm. That hurricane's going to blow through the panhandle, dump, I don't know, more rain that happened in the last 2 months in North Carolina, South in North Carolina, and Georgia are going to get it. And it's going to come up and it's going to hit a cold front coming in from Canada. And between D.C. and Boston, there's going to be a snowstorm before Thanksgiving that will be hurricane, force. So it's one thing for rain to be getting blown around, but snow going at 150 miles an hour, that's going to be like, and so you got the cities of tall towers, and the glass is going to be flying with that snow. And people are going to be going, oh God, oh help me God, oh Lord. Well, whenever you say that, Lord is the nickname for the demigod Baal, right? Fallen angel. And God is Ged, which is the true name of the devil. It's not Satan or Lucifer or the crescent moon. I mean, those are all nicknames. So every time you pray to the Lord or God, you're, sending a direct email to Satan, as the church lady said. Isn't that special? So I have returned to the school, Johnny John, and I'm going to see how long I can stay here because out in the woods, not going to happen. So I kind of closed down the woods till hopefully next spring if we're all here. And, we will be if we hang together, as Franklin said. We either hang together or we all hang separately. So, our Father who art in heaven, God, the creator of all things is our Father. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy Father's, or has its name, it. And Father is just the beginning. But, Mother was the darkness. Father is the illumination, Mother, the darkness is what is the darkness, but the being of all colors, all spectrums, all everything. See it clearly. I did a meditative guided meditation the other night, and it said it's right behind this one. I was trying to put up some stuff that I saved on my camera, and but man, I had a 10-minute little thing, little ditty that I don't want to lose, so I was trying to put it up on the YouTube, and and I started 2 hours ago, and it's only loaded up 5%. So the only seeming way that I can, contact you and leave things up there on my YouTube channel without, like getting a root canal up my anus, is, doing live chats. And you guys comment, and I like that. It's nice having my family with me. Anyway, it's pretty cold. The school, if I only lived here 15 years, so I kind of know what you got to do to deal with the weather up here. And what you got to do is go to Florida or someplace warm. So I'm trying to convince, for the last 2 years, John's go, let's go to California, let's do this, blah, 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 blah. So if there's any time for me to go on the road with Johnny John Boy, it's now. So I'm trying to convince him that we hit the road and get out of here, close up the school, because, he was spending almost $2,000 a month on electricity. It's like, come on, forget that. And, he's got 2 boys, and his eldest is almost a teenager. He's not spent any time with them. And, that is not a healthy thing. My child needs their parents. And John is my friend. People, why do you keep going back to him? Well, because John is my friend. He tries to do the right thing. He's just stuck. And, if I can help John, the world can be saved. John really is. I keep saying this, guys, that he is the, canary in the social coal mine. Whereas Donald Trump is the X-lax of the colon of our body politic. Donnie, he was put there. He didn't win, the popular vote. He lost by 3 million. And, Hillary, she didn't want, what Hillary wants is money. And she got paid to lose, basically, All she had to do was go to 3 states and have, a donut and coffee, and she would have won the Electoral College. But, and Donnie had the most advanced Facebook guys working those algorithms, down to the person. That's how he won the Electoral College. He won it by a handful of votes in specific counties, in specific states. And that is because Donnie is, the distraction, because, we are, Wile E. Coyote straps the big missile on his back to go after the Roadrunner, and he's catching up to him, almost got him, and then the Roadrunner goes up on a mountain, a path, and zips, gets to the top of the mountain, and just as he gets to the cliff, he stops. And Wiley, who's been almost catching him with the rocket strapped to his back, big rocket, the size of a bread truck, flies through the air and zips past the Roadrunner and goes, woo, and the rocket engine is like taking him ever higher and higher and higher, and all of a sudden the rocket engine goes and fizzles out. And he's got this big bread truck tied to his back, and he's flying through the air, and he's like looking around, going, "Oh, this is not so bad." And he looks down, where the Green Canyon is, and he goes, "Oh, that's a nice view." And then all of a sudden, the arc changes, and now he starts going down. Come on, and ooh, Satan's fire, ooh, yeah, kids, and it's not global warming. We are gonna be in one big ice cube. We're gonna be cold, cold, cold. Once those big ice sheets melt, which they have up there in the north, that super duper fresh water comes down into the Atlantic and dilutes the salt, and it kills the train of the heat that comes from Africa and goes along South America and comes up the Gulf Coast and up the East Coast and goes over to Europe. And that's what keeps us all warm, because, latitude of New York and England is about the same latitude as Moscow. It should be that colder. And once we start, we're going to have some rock and roll of earthquakes. I mean, we have had a solar minimum, and it's the sun is bathing us now in severe radiation. And, as I was telling you, on October 8th, the trees were still green. And one of the reasons I left last Thursday, it was like a light switch. Can you see the flying saucers in my glasses? The breaking, it was like a light switch. It went click and went from being 86 every day and 60 at night to being 50 at the day and 39 at night. And the trees, the next two, after the rain from Michael passed through and it got sunny, it was bluer than blue, the clear, still crystal sky. And then they started chemtrailing early in the morning. But the trees started to fall off, leaves started to fall off the trees. And they were still green, but I sat there because, what does a Griot Senseiao have to do but sit and meditate in the middle of the forest? And the trees were falling down below me, and they were green when they fell off the tree. And it would take, 60 seconds to 2 or 3 minutes for the leaves to flitter down. And by the time they hit the ground, and it had been raining, by the time it hit the ground, the leaves were crisp. And they weren't still green, and they weren't even yellow. They weren't red, and they were black. They were barbecued. Things are going on that no one's... You don't hear this on CNN. All you hear about is, porn stars with Donnie Trump. And so... change hands here. Okay. Where am I? Here I am. Ooh, the devil, oh, it's the devil. Remember, God, this is God. Remember, Lord, Lord Bull, Gad. Anyway. Learn Hebrew, read the Bible. King James was just an advertising play. It's like the penthouse of biblical scholars. Where was I? Oh, yes. Crisp trees. Gonna be cold. And Johnny and I are heading on the road, right? And I'm gonna do. He's begging me to, tell more stories of the old crone. Well, maybe I am. The stories that I told you guys that you love so much were just hooks. I didn't tell you what the crone told me. I just kind of described her little gingerbread house, and me drinking tea and talking to the animals. But I didn't tell you what she taught me, you know. I didn't tell you what she foretold. I'm gonna say it in Johnny's YouTubes. Now you need to go online and tell John to give me my fair share. I mean, he goes, "Well, I'm letting you stay here for nothing." Well, that's not true. Like last night, I made him his first dinner he's had. You know, I went and bought vegetables and brought what little food I had and made him a really nice dinner. And this morning I'm gonna make him a real nice breakfast because when he eats real food, he becomes balanced. We are all what we eat. You know, he's eating chocolate bars and loaves of bread, and that's why he looks a little chunky. I'm not working out as hard as I used to. No, no, I mean, I can barely walk. And like right now, I'm in great pain. But what did I start out this little chat with? But our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And so that's a prayer. It's a meditation. And that's how I deal with my pain. I don't take Oxycontin. I don't take opiates. I only take, my blood pressure medicine, and my cholesterol medicine, and my diabetes medicine because they actually keep me alive when I stop taking them. I mean, when you can see the veins in your hand, get larger and larger. When you see the veins in your leg get larger and come outside the skin, well, your blood pressure's up there. Those little veins are getting clogged. And it's not just, the stuff you're eating today. It's like, those 10 years of eating to die for chocolate cake with the desperate lawyers. Anyway, I am slowly, through the lack of money, losing weight because I'm not eating anything. I am eating a tenth of what I used to eat. And my stomach is, shrunk. I didn't have to get lipo surgery. I just stopped eating. And I still eat, and I eat, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I, don't eat anything after 7 p.m., and I go to bed around 9 or 10 or 11. And so there's nothing in my stomach when I go to sleep, so it's not sitting around in my colon. And I'm losing weight. I've lost, since, let's see, since I lived in the woods, and I started May 10th, and I only came to visit John 3 times in that time period. And each time, I came and drove 200 miles after John begged me to come, and because he was so lonely. And then he kicked me out about 10 minutes after I got here. I knew that was going to happen, but so I had already prepared other couches to sleep on. But I think, John really wants me to do, because no one's been watching this channel. They really can't stand Jimmy. It's kind of upsetting and to watch that. But you guys, Jimmy really is. Did you realize how much he looks like Donald Trump? Go look at his last two Jimmys. He looks just like, that hair looks just like Donald Trump. I'm telling you, John Birmingham is like this telegraph of what's going on. You want to know what's going on the planet? You want to know what's going to happen to you unless you hang with your neighbors, unless you can understand all our relations, And last night, a friend of mine, one of my family, one of you guys who has kind of got a hold of my channel, and like, I really appreciate all the Gmails. You guys get a hold of me, and then you give me your phone number, and then I talk to you, and I listen to you. I give you the sensei teachings. I give you the Griot stories. And I don't tell you what to do, but I give you a backstop for you to break loose of your addictions, break loose of your being mesmerized by materialism. Anyway, so, I have 200 and almost 200 members. You're getting close. I think it's 190 something or 189. Getting close to 200. Baby steps. I mean, I only started this thing in May. So, anyway, a person called me up. Well, he actually, gave me a Gmail, and I responded. I called him up, and we were talking. And this guy has really, in a short period of time that we've been talking, he has changed his life. He has changed his life. No one else has. He is like, he stopped saying the same thing over and over and over again. He stopped blaming other people. He has, taken control of his life. He's gone back to school. He's doing well. He's really getting his life together. He is, right? I'm just his friend. That's what friends are supposed to do. Share and care and hang in there with you. Anyway, so John hears me, he sits at the top of the steps. I can hear him up there. I know he's, listening before he even opens the door upstairs. And he kind of tries to sneak, and he's listening to my conversation, right? And then he comes down and breaks in and talks to this guy. Now, the guy had found me first through looking at Johnny's stuff, so he knows who John is. And, anybody who watches my YouTube, I talk about John in, friendly, loving way, that he's my buddy, and, give you, and like I said, he is this, touchstone, this canary in a coal mine. So anyway, John just takes over the conversation. And so I shut up and I let the two talk. And it gets to a point where this guy goes, can tell he wants to go. He doesn't want, John would talk to him all night, And he then starts saying, well, I can tell that you're just mouthing Al's stuff. You're lucky you hang out with him and he's always there for you. And he's such a good friend. And John goes, no, this is me. I'm telling you, I'm talking to you. And the guy is saying, well, I got to go. And John won't let him go. So I kind of don't break in, but it's the devil. It's the light. It's the light. Don't go to the light, that's for sure. Anyway, so it's going to be interesting. And now I'm a little more, John used to just stick his phone in my face and appropriate me to monetize his channel. And so I'm kind of aware of that. Like, the Oak Crone has, 80,000, 100,000, views and, similar amount of likes. And he says, oh, it's not making me any money. And, I don't know about that. What are you guys? You're more suave bola on the how YouTube monetizes. I'm still learning that one. I'm going to get myself, hook or by crook, I'm getting a Patreon X, so it's going to be part of the fun. Anyway, so it's, I'm here. It's pretty obvious I'm going to probably stay here because, like I said, last night was John's first meal. I cooked John hundreds of meals, and this is amazing. Oh, it's the best food. I mean, he says it every time. You'd think he would, remember how good a cook I am. I used to have restaurants, You can't make money in a restaurant unless the food's pretty good. Anyway, and I used to get the food out of a dumpster. I had dumpster restaurants. Uh, so I was at a friend of mine's restaurant. So there, I got back to the Big R, and I went and got my medicine. I went and saw my doctor. I have a few more doctors. I got my eyes operated on next week, and I'm getting my feet trimmed today. I mean, the main reason I came back, sort of trying to get a little warm. But John won't do what it takes to keep this place warm, and there's two really big wood stoves, one upstairs, one downstairs. So I don't want to have fires. It dries the air out, and it makes my nose. Oh, I'll get cancer in my nose because I have a wood stove. I said, well, yeah, maybe if you stick your head up the chimney, but it's the cheapest, best way to keep this place warm. And you have to insulate it. I mean, you have to put it's a gigantic house, 7,000 square feet, all concrete. There's cracks everywhere. So you gotta, put plastic up. And last, winter, when it got really cold, it was like 20 degrees inside. And I've been living here, so I put up plastic on the windows and started a fire in the wood stove, and I got it to be 70. And once you get the thing warmed, the concrete heats up, and it'll stay warm. And then after I got it warmed up, all it took was 3 or 4 pieces of logs of wood every hour or two. And it kept it at 68. And, then Christmas came and John threw me out. And, I lived in the woods in the middle of winter at 9 degrees below zero with the bourgeois kids and the lonely army kids out in the woods, for a month. Then I, met the old ladies of Arsenic and Old Lace and spent another month with them. And then I went and visited some other friends a little further south. And then I came back and spent 2 days with John, and John threw me out again. And then I went back to my couch friends in town for a couple of weeks, and then came back for 2 days, and that was April. And that's when I headed to the woods, and I stayed in the woods, got it together May 1st and stayed there. So from last Christmas to today, I have spent 36 evenings with John. Just a guest, no longer a roommate. And now I understand YouTube. I understand where we are on the planet, meaning time is short. And we don't need to have... See, the thing about Armageddon, it happens all the time. I mean, the people who were in, Florida, in the Panhandle, in Mexico City, or whatever they call that place, Mexico Beach, they were experiencing end times. The people in Yemen, because of what our government is doing with Saudi Arabia, probably 2 million people will die before Christmas. You talk about a Holocaust. So, and this whole thing with the reporter and the assassination in Turkey has more to do with Israel more than you will know. And this is all the kind of stuff I'm going to be discussing on John's channel. I'm not going to have any little, fuzzy stories, because I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go give you the backstory on all the fuzzy nice stories. The fuzzy nice stories with a hook. Meaning, I got tired of John sticking a phone in my face. I said, okay, I'm going to figure out how this works. I'm going to use it. I'm going to, because all the spirits were telling me to get back in the game. 1998, I kind of said, okay, I'm going to make some money. The world's going to end soon, so I'm going to go out with one big hedonistic blast. Well, it was fun. It lasted almost 15 years, and then I almost died. So I didn't. The spirits told me, okay, we're bringing you back one more time. Well, no, I don't know how many more times you're bringing me back, but I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to enjoy it. I've been really enjoying, finding you guys, my family here on my Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Al Bob. I'm really enjoying my conversations with you on Gmail at thedudeawake42 at Gmail. And then when you give me your phone numbers, we talk on the phone. And a few of you have read my stuff at xratted.blogspot.com, and have returned, some feedback. I really enjoy that too. Anyway, we've been on for a while. My hand is getting tired holding this up, and I want to make breakfast, and the sun is rising. So just stay tuned. I'm now in the really good. The school has amazing Wi-Fi, so I can just keep loading these things up there. So I'm gonna have lots of live chats. So stay tuned. Tell your friends, tweet people out. Let's get some people up here. With the help of you guys, I'll get a Patreon account, and you can, let's say there's only 180 of you. Right? If you all sent me $5 a month, you can afford that. It's like public radio. That would be more than enough to keep me out of harm's way. Okay? Okay. Ooh, it's the devil, it's the devil. Look at those hooves, oh, the horns, oh, the humanity of it, oh. Whoa, follow the light, Go see how the light and the devil are almost the same thing? Ooh, who knew that? Okay, how do I turn this thing off? Okay, kids, I love you.